today we are going to be talking about school lunches. What were your school lunches like, Tony? I'm very curious.
Public schools in Norway don't have cantinas. They don't have food halls. You bring your own lunch from home. Typical thing for me growing up was sliced bread with something because you don't have a fridge to put it either. Something that's like, it's not shelf stable, but it can last like a few hours in your
Wow.
backpack.
So you went to public school?
Yes, I went to public school.
Mhm.
Like you needed to go pretty far to find a private school where I grew up.
Because there weren't
That's
like institutions, like enough people to even form a private school.
exactly. So again, it would be sliced bread with cheese, ground cheese, liver pate. If you brought a yogurt, good luck, it might survive. Well, no, I actually did that a few times. Like it's not 40 degrees, like half the year, it's kind of chilly. And having something in your backpack for 2, 3 hours, it will survive just fine.
So you always brought your own food. You never had the food there for you. That's really sad. You missed out.
Sure. You were used to
Well, not after you hear what I ate.
Well, I should mention that in high school, depending where you went to high school, yes, there were cantinas. There was still
Okay.
a habit of bringing some of your own food, but there were cantinas.
And so you just brought a sandwich? Like you didn't get tired of eating the same thing every day?
You ate different sandwiches. And maybe even a leftover slice of the grandiosa, the frozen pizza, the day before. That was a highlight when I had that. I was like, woof, living like a king here.
Do you remember like kids getting bullied based on what they brought for lunch?
No, but I actually remember reading books about it as a kid.
So everyone was just like respecting what everyone else brought for lunch.
I guess someone could always get like picked on, but not for that reason. There's so many other things you can get picked on for.
Right. Huh. You guys are very civil. I remember like there was one girl that I went to primary school with, and she was vegetarian. She might have even been vegan. So she would bring tofu to school. And this was like not even to the year 2000. The kids would just rip her apart and say like, "What are you eating? That's disgusting." Like it was very sad. So like things like that, like what you brought to school, like people really they looked at you and they judged you.
I should mention this. I wasn't the one who got picked on the most. Like there were other who were like the chicken who gets like picked most on. I remember this girl and woof, like it breaks my heart. Like she used to come in the same outfit very often. But I don't know if it was the exact same outfit or if it was just like similar that she felt more comfortably. And like someone would ask her like, "Why are you coming in the same outfit?" Or her like, and then
Yeah.
maybe someone picked on her for her lunch without me knowing. Maybe it happens to some people, but it didn't happen to me.
So you had sandwiches. You never got the proper like the overweight lunch lady that would just plop the food on the tray.
No, and that was portrayed in American movies like prison food or hospital food. So it was
Close.
yeah. So it was never something that I eager to try.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Everything, for the most part, everything is very industrial, processed. Like anything from a can, everything was just like throw it in a thing and heat it up, and that was it. In primary school, I always ate the lunch there. I went to a private school, so my parents were paying for it, and I think they didn't want to pay for the lunch and pay for me to bring my food. The only time I would make my own food and bring it was for field trips, like when we would go places like I don't know, a museum or whatever. And I hated it because my parents only bought us wheat bread. All the kids had white bread. I don't know that anyone ever made fun of me, but I remember feeling so ashamed that I had wheat bread because it was so you could just see like the brown specks on the bread. Like there was no hiding that it was wheat bread. And all the kids had white bread, so I would always be like really scared of those times when I had to bring my
What
food.
Why was that I think the type of bread for me that's like I can't really wrap my head around like that anyone would care.
I don't know. I mean, it was a like a religious school, and I think kids were just like they had nothing better to do. I don't know. Maybe it was just my experience, but I just feel like kids are really mean. And I guess it could like I said, I don't know if it was why I was so ashamed. Like I don't know if it was because people made me feel that way or I was just like self-conscious about it.
But just to clarify, when you say wheat, you mean like whole wheat bread?
You know, there's the sliced bread. We
Yeah.
only have
Yeah.
sliced bread in the US, or we
Mm,
did at that time. So it was either white bread or like the wheat bread that had like the little grains. And my parents
okay.
never bought us white bread because I mean the bread there is bleach. It's literally like bleached. It's terrible for you.
Well, good. I can't remember as a kid, I would think too much about it. Maybe I would even envy like the ones who had the white bread because I thought it was better. But I think in my teens, I would unconsciously almost look a bit down on people eating white bread because
Oh yeah, it's
it's not
cheaper. It's
that
cheap bread, you know?
it's
It's not
cheap
as
bread, it's not very good for you, and people who eat white bread in Norway, I would often Ooh, I forgot to mention I am so sorry. Okay, so a really important thing I just need to mention quickly before we continue.
Okay.
So, we talked about breakfast, things you have on sliced bread. And this kind of ties into the school lunches because what you have for breakfast, you usually also have for school lunches, like the same kind in
Yeah.
Norway. Okay, so there's the
Mhm.
connection. I mentioned dulce de leche. That was like a sweet thing that we use instead of a dessert. We would have it on sliced bread. But
Yeah.
the main thing that was a sweet thing that we used to have on sliced bread was something called nougaty. Nougaty is, think of it as Nutella, but better and slightly drier. Mwah! Al dente.
Spaghetti. Was it from Italy?
No, Norway.
Spaghetti.
So I would say where Nutella feels a bit oily, maybe this one feels a tad drier.
Is it like peanut butter? Do you know what peanut butter is?
Yeah, yeah, but it's not like you make this chocolate thing out of hazelnut,
Mhm.
but it's not like peanut butter. That's just grinded peanuts. Like because
Mhm.
50% is fat anyway, so you just need to grind it and
Yeah.
you have peanut butter. But I'm talking about again, picture Nutella, but slightly drier. So it's a chocolate thing with a lot of hazelnut. So why am I mentioning it now? I'm mentioning it now because I would sometimes observe the less healthy kids that had white bread also having less healthy things on the bread. For example, nougat.
Spaghetti.
I never picked on anyone, but if I was going to do it, I would do it the other way around, actually. So for having
Interesting.
white bread, not for having wheat bread.
But what did you bring?
Wheat bread, but homemade. Homemade.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess white bread was the big thing. White bread tasted better in the US. It was sweet, very sweet, and clearly not good for you. So my parents were like, they just did not, they would not buy it for me. So,
Huh, you know what? I
ugh,
haven't baked bread in years. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. See if I still have it.
the recipe. Is it hard? Is it difficult?
Ah, just
Don't you need a
more
bread
ingredients.
maker?
This is the bread maker.
I maybe that's a US thing, like, you only make bread if you or I don't know. In my day, you didn't make bread unless you had a bread maker because we don't have,
So,
like, the loaves, like, everything is, like, the bimbo bread, you know, the pan bimbo,
mm,
and it's really hard to make that unless you have a proper machine.
so we do have bread mixers in Norway. We both have like the ones that you just pour the ingredients in and then they mix and then they cook the bread as well. Although I think it's kind of out of fashion right now. And then we do have the KitchenAid machines where you can use different you attach different utilities, and one
Mhm.
is for turning the ingredients so you get the dough ready. Does it
Ferment
do with the yeast? It what?
rises, like, ferments,
Yes,
like, it
exactly.
expands, basically.
Those like the big machines, they're kind of expensive. So I would just do it by hand. And I think for maybe like 11 years straight as a young adult, I would just make it myself. I would make 6 breads and then freeze them and then cut them in half as well. Then just take up whatever I wanted
Mm.
when I wanted. Now I eat less bread. And now I also have the stores to go buy stuff. So I don't have the same need, but now I kind of got the craving, and maybe it's the Christmas spirit. No, Christmas, it's Easter. Maybe it's the maybe it's like the
You're
Easter
still stuck on
spirit.
Christmas, aren't you?
Yeah. I think I am. No, maybe it's us just talking about all this food from our
Mhm.
upbringing. It makes me want to go make bread because the bread I used to bake was really similar to the one my mom used to bake for me when I grew up.
Make it, yeah. Okay, I have a few more things to talk about school lunches because I have such memories from it. But Lunchables, do you know what Lunchables are?
I do not.
I'm surprised those aren't in movies. There's different types. There's a pizza one and there's nachos, but it's like a box. I can't just. It's like a little plastic tray, and they it comes with all the ingredients. You
Mm,
have it.
kind of.
Our childhood was not that different. Okay, so Lunchables were a big thing, and then they had off-brand things, and my parents would typically buy, like, the off-brand ones because the brand names were expensive. In middle school, we ate I don't know how they how this was legal, but they gave us pizza sticks and Hot Pockets. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a
Hot
piece of
pockets, yes.
pizza.
Mm.
Yeah, terrible. So they would just heat it up in the plastic and then give it to you to eat. We had a lot of, like, Little Debbie's. Do you know Little Debbie like Twinkies?
Twinkies are one of those things you've seen in all the movies, but you never tried them. You so badly want to try them.
They're not that great. That's what we were offered in middle school. I don't know how they didn't get shut down for feeding us absolute garbage.
I don't understand how they could afford it as well.
Yeah, right,
Because
they're not cheap. I mean, they buy them in bulk, but those things are not
that's
cheap either.
no, they're not.
I don't remember that very much because it was only 1 year. I only went 1 year, but in high school, when I got older,
Mhm.
my mom only gave me $10 to eat lunch, so there was a place to buy food there,
Every
and
day,
$10.
$10?
No, no, per week, for 5 days.
Okay, so I was like, only $10. I'm like, privileged, but okay, if it was
No,
or
$10 per week,
okay.
and the school lunch was 2.25. Like, the school lunch was, like, the typical, like, tray, the prison food tray that they give you with the little containers, and then they slop, like, different the different foods on it, and that was always like a nicer meal. Like, bad stuff. The only meal that everybody liked was when they made chicken nuggets. They were really good. They did it, like, once a week. They knew that nobody liked the food there except the chicken nuggets, so I don't know why they didn't just have chicken nuggets every day, but that was the only time I would eat the school lunch was when they had chicken nuggets and mashed potatoes. It was really good. So, because I could not pay for the school lunch every day, I would just eat a chocolate chip cookie and a bag of french fries because that was like $1.75, I think. So I could afford my one time a week school lunch, and then I just ate a cookie and a french fries every other day.
Okay, now I get why you ate a bowl of ice cream every evening, stacking up on calories.
It's sad when I think about it because that is not healthy at all, but I was, like, very active, I was always playing sports, so I guess it was fine, but not healthy whatsoever. Yeah, that's, my complaint against my mother for not giving me enough money to buy food that I needed.
I will actually add something about high school lunches. Don't have a memory how often I would bring lunch myself. I think I did it sometimes. Yeah, like first year of high school, I would bring most days, but maybe once a week. I would buy, we just called it horns. It's basically white bread with like these black seeds on top, and inside there would be boiled ham, like jamon york, a couple of slices of cheese. You would buy that, put it in a microwave, maybe add, if they had some kind of like dressing, so like a hamburger dressing, you would put inside of this. And maybe we call it piffikrydder. I don't even know how to, like, think barbecue spice, but it's not chili and it's not sweet. It's mostly just salt. And that was one of the highlights of starting high school, and you could go and buy that every once in a while in the cantina.
Ham, cheese, and barbecue sauce.
Not
My
barbecue
favorite.
sauce. It's hamburger sauce. Have you been to Mercadona? They actually have it there. It's like
Barbecue
this
sauce?
barbecue sauce is brown. This one is pinkish. The taste, it's kind of salty, kind of soury. You feel there's some pickles mixed in there as well. And it's like the
What's it
perfect
called?
thing to have on. It's called hamburger dressing. Well, in Spain, hamburger
Yeah.
salsa, I guess, or something.
Is it ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together?
No, it's not ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together. This it's a whole different level here, Mal.
I'll try it, maybe.
And that is the standard in Norway. Like the first times when I would go abroad and see them on hamburgers just have mayonnaise or ketchup, you want to slap them in your face and say, "Do better." Like there's other dressings out there.
Specific meal, lunch meal.
They would have some other things you could buy, like let's say like a whole wheat bread roll with, again, very often with like sliced cheese and ham, some salad. There were different things, maybe some yogurts. We didn't have like the thing with the tray and the sloppy joes just like
Mhm.
thrown in there. That was nothing.
You had to pick like, buy each individual item.
Yeah, think of it as going to Starbucks, for example, and you're picking. I'm not saying the cantina was a Starbucks here. I'm just explaining, like, you
Like,
pick
a la
whatever.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
That's interesting that Norway doesn't have that well, at least where you went to school, right?
Where I went to high school, yes. There might be other things going on down in the capital, other bigger places.
Let us know if we're wrong, if we're just, like, have limited, experience. Okay, conclusions. My conclusion is that my parents fed me and my siblings as if we were poor, even though we were not. My parents were extremely frugal. We just did not have a lot of healthy options. I didn't have a say in what we ate. Like, I was not
Mm.
making the decisions at the grocery store most of the time. But a lot of what drew me as a kid was like the packaging and having Fred Flintstones on the box was like, I want that, you know? The marketing was very important, the packaging.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Just not good options in the US, I'm gonna be honest. Probably a lot of illegal things that are not served today in the schools and to families. I think there's a movement of people being more conscious and healthy. And I mean, I don't know. That's my assumption. But then I say that, and I had chips in the US that I could not even eat because they were so salty. Yeah. So maybe they're not doing better, but I think people are more conscious of it at least that like you should have a salad and not having frozen dinners every night of the week is, you know.
I guess that depends your income level of education, what kind of neighborhood you grew up in, what you were exposed to, the people in
Mhm.
your surroundings, what they do. There's a whole bunch of factors at play there. In the US, it's what, 330 million people living there. Obviously, you're gonna find
Yeah.
everything
Right.
in between.
And I didn't grow up in a big city, so, you know, that's also factors into it. You only have available to you what's in the stores or nearby. I guess I'm just amazed that I have good health now in my 30s because I ate absolute garbage growing up as a kid. What are your conclusions, Tony? Or do you have any? Well,
Despite
besides that, like, everything factors into it, I guess.
the conclusion on my diet growing up is that it wasn't too bad. I had access to like a lot of good food, like nutritional wise. If I could choose, I would probably, as a kid, always go with the unhealthy ones. You want the hamburger, you want the
Mhm.
candy, you just want cheat meals.
Yeah.
And I really gotta hand it and give a lot of credit to my parents and step parents growing up, how they handled me being very picky as a kid with different dishes. They would never force feed me and say, like, finish that plate. They would say, you gotta try some of the food. And it can't just be
Mhm.
putting your tongue on the side of the plate. You need to actually chew some of it and
Yeah.
like swallow
Uh-huh.
it. That led me to being really good at eating things that I didn't like in my teenagers. I wouldn't even make a face. I was like, you're supposed to eat it, you eat it. And then that again led to me just being pretty open to food in general and
Mm.
accepting like not every food is meant to taste like a cheat meal. Some of it is just an experience, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up with young parents. They weren't poor, but they didn't have like all the means in the world. So seeing how the refrigerator used to be then versus now, and also there's a prosperous society, better salaries, different food habits, you would see them as more, okay, maybe sober isn't the best word, or more withholden or simpler back in the day. Whereas now, when you open a fridge, it's just a vast of food and candy and whatever your heart desires.
Like, they kind of let go a little bit.
Yeah. And that's what everyone does also.
I think that's something, like, you have to do it when you have kids because you want to set a good example, but then when you get older, you're like, what am I doing this for, you know? You just want to eat to enjoy your life. Yeah, I guess you get to a point in your life where you're just like, "I wanna eat the things I like and treat myself every once in a while."
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's something, like, I notice about my parents too, like, they just kind of eat whatever they want, not necessarily things that would be kid friendly because they don't have kids in the house anymore, so
And maybe the kids come by and say, "Hey, their parents, maybe that is not the healthiest diet there, but okay."
I think your taste buds change too as you get older. Like, when you start aging, you crave more sweets or salty and you just have less control, I guess, or maybe you just don't care.
A mix of everything, all the factors at once.
Mhm.
Okay, we talked food. It was a sensitive topic. We could not shut up.
It was a fun one, yeah.
I guess we have to ask listeners, hey, if there are Norwegians or US citizens and Americans out there, do you agree? Do you disagree? If you're a Spaniard or a different nationality, do you have some
British.
comparison? Brit?
Let's hear from the
British. Yes.
Let's hear from UK.
Come on, Brits. Tell us something. How are your eggs and beans breakfasts? We want to know.
Thank you for listening. It's been fun. We'll see you next time.
We will. Remember, subscribe and like. And again, please comment. Let's keep the conversation going.
Yes. All right. Adios.
Adios.